This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the Urban Lounge, located at 241 South, 500 East, right in downtown Salt Lake City. Head on over to their website, theurbanloungeslc.com, connect with them on Twitter and Facebook, and find out about all of the upcoming shows.
Showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people, making Salt Lake City what it is today. It's time for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
I want to personally welcome you guys out today to episode 120 of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. My name is Chris Hollifield. Welcome to my show. Welcome to the podcast all about Salt Lake City. IamSaltLake.com is the website. You can find out more about the podcast. You can get all the links to get in touch with me right there on the website, as well as check out all of the previous episodes of the show. You can download them right from the website. Links for iTunes, Stitcher Radio, the Mediocre Radio Network is all right there at IamSaltLake.com. I have a really great episode for you guys today. Local hip-hop artist Atheist came over to my apartment. He was on episode 34, so I thought it was time for him to come back and sit down with me and do some catching up. He recently put out a couple of albums. I'm going to be playing a few tracks from his Topanga album, which I'm going to have links on the show notes for this episode at IamSaltLake.com/120. That way you can check out the new Topanga album, as well as all the other links to get in touch with Scott right there on the show notes for episode 120. But before I do get into that conversation, it is that time of the year. It's that time of the year to think of those less fortunate than you. And our friends at the Heart of Gold Tattoo Shop are doing a Christmas fundraiser where 100% of the proceeds go to the Christmas Box House. What they're doing is they're accepting walk-ins all day on Saturday, December the 7th, at their shop located at 853 East, 400 South, right in Salt Lake City. And 100% of those proceeds are going to help give local kids a Merry Christmas. So make sure to follow them on Facebook. Again, I'll have all the links on the show notes, episode 120. That way you can get in touch with Heart of Gold Tattoo Shop and help out this fundraiser, December the 7th. At the Heart of Gold Tattoo Shop in Salt Lake City. Anyways, like I said, Scott came over to my apartment. We sat down, we chatted, we did some catching up, had a really great conversation. So why don't you guys join me now as I talk to Scott, local hip-hop artist Atheist, as he came over to my apartment in downtown Salt Lake City, Utah. I was looking back over... It was episode 34.
Yeah, I listened to it today.
I should have listened to it before I had you back on.
Well,
it was probably so horrible.
Yeah, 34. What number will this be when it comes out?
100 what I don't even know what I'm on. Gosh, 120 maybe? 100 I don't even know. I should have looked before. But I mean that's how far. I mean, it was back in January.
Yeah. Which isn't that long ago, but for as many episodes as you've done.
Oh my gosh, I need to calm down. Anyways, you've had 2 CDs since, because you had Thanks for the Burgers.
Yeah. When we chatted before, and then you did an EP. Mm-hmm. And then you had Topanga. Yep. And I'm working on a mixtape right now. It's going to come out in probably December, like a group thing. So a group thing with, now you mentioned you're doing, well, we're kind of going to start jumping all over the place. So let's back up a little bit. Why did you do an EP? Like, you did that right before Topanga, right?
Yeah. So what happened is I ended up meeting while I was working on Topanga, I met a producer named Moonwalker Boombox, a good guy named Kevin. And he said, I want to do an EP with you where every song samples the same artist. And I was like, oh yeah, who do you have in mind? And he's like, I think you'd sound good over Roger Troutman samples. So it just got to be the point where I had to either do it before Topanga, so we did it very quickly, or it was going to have to come way after Topanga. I didn't want the two to clash with each other. So we just put together this EP, and I'm surprised it turned out as well as it did. We did it fast.
Oh, it's great.
We did it in about 3 weeks. From start to finish, and super happy with how it came out, and then put the focus back on Topanga.
And then Topanga, I mean, that's your second full length,
yeah,
more or less. I mean, what from doing Thanks for the Burgers? Do you feel like you learned a lot from doing that, so you could put out a better album the second time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or, I mean, what do you feel you did better in this album versus
this? I went for bigger songs.
Yeah.
You know, this was instead of just rapping over the same type of beats, I have a lot of different sounds, but I think the whole thing sounds really cohesive. The guy who did my EP, Chance Lewis, also recorded Topanga, and I think the sound quality is just really high. He's in Provo, so I drive to Provo every Sunday and work on the album with him, and his sound is just top notch.
This is on your new album?
This is on the EP and Topanga. So we sort of use the EP as a get to know one another, see how we work together. And I liked how the sound came out on that. And I said, let's work on Topanga. And so he did all my recording, mixing, mastering, everything technical for Topanga. And I love how the album sounds.
What's your all-time favorite song on Topanga?
I was thinking about that today. I thought you might ask. I think it's got to be Too Loud to Sleep On, which is the craziest track on the whole thing. It's EDM based. I scream the chorus. It's a lot different than most of the other songs, and it's the one that I think is really polarizing for a lot of people. Some people really love it. Like my best friend, he called and he was like, "You made a song for me with that one. I love that." And then some people are like, "That one's too crazy. Like,
Yeah.
that one is not. I'm not really feeling that one." And for that reason, I think it's my favorite. I did it. I've only performed it once, and I had to close my set. And it was at Bar Deluxe, and you were there.
Yeah, the Bar Deluxe. That was
the heavy metal festival.
Yeah, how did that? I mean, that was a pretty cool. Like the way they had the hip hop night, and then
they were really cool with us. They it was just a full on heavy metal festival, and I think this was the third or fourth year.
The Crucial Fest.
Crucial. Oh, sorry, yes, Crucial Fest.
Crucial Fest.
Jerem Bischoff, who I think you've had on the show, right?
I've had Jerem on the show a couple of times, actually.
Yeah. So he's a great guy, and he contacted me and said, "We're thinking about doing a hip hop night for Crucial Fest. Who would you recommend being on?" And so I said me.
Yeah, you're like, well, of course, me. Hello.
And I recommended Harrison Gig,
which I've had all those guys.
Yeah. I know you always pick like my favorite rappers, which is nice because it's easier to get to know them through a podcast than in real life. I think.
And you had pizzas. You were giving out. I thought that was the raddest thing. Do you normally do that at your shows?
No, that was a one-time thing.
I was like, this is awesome. He's giving out free pizza. You know?
Those, because it was a long set. A lot of rappers had rapped before me, and I wasn't even the headliner. But Harrison Gig came on after I did, and I didn't go on till midnight. And I thought, what can I do different? I'm always trying to think of something.
You showed up in your bathrobe.
Yep, I had a bathrobe and an afro and a stack of Big Daddy's pizzas. And the bartender was so happy. Like she pulled me aside after and she's like, "I was starving, and you just magically walk in here with hot pizzas." And I ate.
But see, and everybody, I'm sure, remembers that show.
I hope so.
With the pizza.
Yeah, I always try to do something different. I performed on Monday night. I performed at the Kilby Court for and I brought some kids up on stage to dance, and some of them knew the words to my song and they sang along. And I always try to do something different to mix it up, because I've been to a lot of hip hop shows where I'm just bored, even if I like hip hop a lot.
Yeah.
And this isn't just local. I've gone to see, touring acts and top 20, rappers and stuff, or top 40, but you just got to switch it up.
How does that make you feel now when people can sing along to your songs? I mean, I'm sure that's, pretty cool, right?
It's awesome.
It's like people know your music, people sing along, people get up and dance. And you've come a long ways, man.
It's weird because, we were saying I haven't been on since episode 34, but that was in January.
Yeah.
And now it's November. So it's not a crazy amount of time, but a lot has happened in that time.
What I thought was interesting, I wanted to talk about this. You played at a Boy Scout Jamboree.
In Tooele.
I know this was back in September, I think it was.
Yeah.
I didn't even know bands played at Boy Scout Jamborees.
So the biggest switch I think that's coming up for the next year for me is being very choosy about what shows I play. Because right after I did episode 34, I did any show that anyone asked me to be on. I was doing shows all over the place, shows for 5 people, big shows, for touring groups, opening for them. And now I'm getting to the point where promoters are calling me and asking to open up for big groups. I don't have to ask a lot anymore, which is awesome.
But why wouldn't you want to play any show that you had an opportunity? You think people maybe get burned out?
Yeah, I think so. I want to focus on when you come see a show, you only can come see it, 2 or 3 times a month, which is still a lot for if you're just playing in Salt Lake. So it's hard to get, I'd rather bring I'd rather bring the audience that wants to see me to a big show.
Absolutely.
And so instead of locals only showcases for 5 people, those are hard, and those are fun too, but it's just the promoters have started asking me to cut down the amount of shows.
So at the Boy Scout Jamboree, was it just a bunch of Boy Scouts, or did you did other people come out to it?
No, a couple other people came out, but with it being all the way in Tooele, and it's just a weird event to go to, we didn't know what it was going to be like till we got there. And my friend Drew Danbury from Provo, he's a musician and now he's a barber. He's got a barber shop there. He recommended me to the guy who was putting on the music for the show. He's like, "Oh, you should talk to," and he named 4 or 5 bands, and I was one of them. And so I got this email
from the Boy Scouts of America.
Right.
You're
"Hey,
like,
Atheist, we heard that you might want to rap at this show." And I was like, "You've obviously never heard my music. Like, okay, yeah, I'm in." And it was awesome. I'm in a group now. So Topanga was a solo album, but all the shows I've been doing lately have been with a group called House of Lewis. And so it's Chance Lewis who recorded my album, Apt, Donnie Benelli, and DJ Scratchmo. And they're all in Provo.
So you don't do anything solo anymore?
Once in a while. Some people will book me for just a solo thing, or if the set's going to be really short. If I'm on for 10 minutes, I'll just do it by myself. But Boy Scout Jamboree, I think we had 45 minutes.
Wow.
And so I've done 45-minute shows by myself, but this time I brought all 5 guys.
Do you prefer to do it with a group of guys like that?
Yeah, with a group is awesome.
Just the energy or
yeah,
what?
It's hard. There's not much to look at when it's just me. I think that's why I always try to do something different when I perform, because I've been to those shows where it's one guy and a DJ, or one guy and just his iPod, and that is a lonely looking stage, especially when you go to a rock show or punk or ska. There's so many people on the stage making music together that there's a lot to look at. When it's just one rapper and his iPod, it's just easy to burn out. And it gives me a break.
So how did you get teamed up with those guys from doing Topanga? Pretty much, is that kind of how
they were a group before I met them, and then they asked. Well, I was recording Topanga. They said, "Do you want to be a part of House of Lewis?"
they're all down in Provo.
How
does that work out? I mean, the commute, you just drive down there, and
that's how good his sound was. I could completely recommend him to anybody who wants to record, especially hip hop, but he can do anything. But it was worth a 45-minute drive every week to go record. There's tons of really talented producers in Salt Lake that I could work with, and I have worked with a lot of them, but Chance and I just clicked really well.
You just had that connection, man.
Yeah.
And that's important. That's important with music.
Yeah, he understood where I was coming from musically, sound quality wise, and we just got along really well. We're good friends now, so he's not a party guy. I'm not really a party guy.
Oh, come on. You know how to party.
I can party. I do party.
With the pizza party.
That's true. Yeah, I'm a pizza party guy. And but when I come to the studio to work, I want to work. And so that's the difference.
Let's actually play a song. I'll stitch it in here. Let's play one of the songs here from Topanga. What song should
Since we're talking about parties, let's play Party in the Avenues.
Party in the Avenues. We'll play that and then come back and chat with you some more.
So we had this party the other night. We had a bunch of people over, and the police showed up at 3 a.m, bam, 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 pounding on my door. We say, "What's the problem, Mr. Officer?" And he said, "We've had some complaints about your party." We said, "Okay, what's the matter?" "Well, you need to keep the noise down a little bit." We said, "Sure." And they said, "All right, you guys have a great night." And then they left. That's it. That's the end of the story. We throw parties in the avenues. We throw parties till we make the news. We gon' party like the year is new. Come party where nobody gonna bother you. We throw parties in the avenues. We throw parties till we make the news. We gon' party like the year is new. Come party where nobody gonna bother you. Come party where nobody gonna bother you. No drama when you come through the avenues. We got Henny and James and a barbecue. Even hooked the live feed of the pay-per-view. We're streaming, 100 people screaming. Put them up and punch the ceiling if you're feeling like we're feeling. We're gonna get it in, everybody chipping in. First you're gonna take a drink, then we're gonna drink again. No one's getting stabbed, no one's getting shot. Girl, what number's that? I don't know a lot. We'll keep the party going, we'll keep the music loud. Ironic sweaters are fine, no Ed Hardy allowed. We got hotties and crowds, bodies moving around. And the boys in the back, they got a hell of a cloud. We're never coming down for a second. You party, we party till it's time for breakfast. We throw parties in the avenues. We throw parties till we make the news. We gon' party like the year is new. Come party where nobody gonna bother you. We throw parties in the avenues. We throw parties till we make the news. We gon' party like the year is new. Come party where nobody gonna bother you. Oh, who's this? You probably never heard of him. He put out half a track and then somebody murdered him. It's his only album and yeah, it's kinda hard to get. Let's just say I knew a kid who knew a kid who knew a kid. Calm down, nobody panic. My dealer just called and the weed's organic. We got vegan, gluten-free options. Look, there's a 40-year-old, he's pop-locking. And those hippie girls, they like to dance a lot. Do they dance well? Absolutely not. But what you got on these gourmet appetizers? Go unplug your iPod, brother, my vinyl's liver. We don't pack 45s and 38s. We carry 33s and 45s in a crate. We don't pack 45s and 38s. We carry 33s and 45s in a crate. We throw parties in the avenues. We throw parties till we make the news. We gon' party like the year is new. Come party where nobody gonna bother you. We throw parties in the avenues. We throw parties till we make the news. We gon' party like the year is new. Come party where nobody gonna bother you. With so much drama in the SLC, sometimes it's hella hard just to drink and party, you see. But no one's got beef in the avenues. Who cares who you slept with? No one here is mad at you. We're bed hopping, all the name dropping, Photoshop cropping, and DI shopping. Hipsters in the place to be, and the place to be is taking shots with me. Now right about now I'll be stumbling and mumbling, a bumbling fool, my head pounding like a power tool. I lean left like my politics, and I don't wear skinny jeans cause my legs don't fit. No red cups and no beer pong. If you think you're not invited, girl, you might be wrong. Cause the night is young and I can't feel my tongue. Take a puff to the lungs, exhale and sing along. We throw parties in the avenues. We throw parties till we make the news. We gon' party like the year is new. Come party where nobody gonna bother you. We throw parties in the avenues. We throw parties till we make the news. We gon' party like the year is new. Come party where nobody gonna bother you. Have you ever been curb stomped by a police officer after you swung on him with a bottle of bourbon? Well, we haven't. We just like to party.
My next album is going to be completely sample free. All brand new original music, easy to license, easy, no copyright things to jump over, or paperwork to fill out. Just, I'm working with, just producers that make beats with just original music. So a lot of like 80s synth is sort of where I'm headed now. So it's exciting, and I'm still trying to figure out where it's going to go.
You're always experimenting with new stuff.
Exactly.
It sounds like, and I like that out of a musician. You get kind of stuck in a rut and you get kind of burned out.
Yeah, I could easily, cause I feel that Thanks for the Burgers is pretty similar to Topanga. You've got some serious songs, some funny songs. A lot of the music sounds sort of in the same vein. You would get that they were made by the same guy. The next album I'm gonna make is gonna be different, but it'll just still be me rapping. But I want to have more singers on there, more vocal effects, more just a different kind of sound.
Are you still doing any like freestyle rapping? I know you were doing that before.
A little bit. I'm doing a lot of the pre-written battles. I just signed on to do a battle with a guy named Cadillac Ron. And we'll be battling December 7th.
Cadillac Ron.
Cadillac Ron. So I grew up, I guess not grew up, but starting in college, battles were getting really popular to watch on YouTube. And Cadillac Ron was one of the guys that I sort of got me into rap battles. And he's from LA, and he's just
with a name like that, you got to be from LA,
right? Exactly. And so one of his battles has like over 100,000 views, and he's a veteran, and he's just like a.
So you're gonna fly to LA for that?
He's coming out here. So Synchronize, who you had on the show as well,
Nate,
yeah. So Mike Masters is bringing him out to battle me, and he asked to battle me, which is cool because he saw one of my last battles. He was just there to battle somebody else.
So you nervous?
I thought I would be, but music is going well enough where I don't really care.
And when is that going to be? When is that?
December 7th.
That's the day after my birthday.
Yeah?
Yeah. We should have a big birthday party, right?
Where I yell horrible slurs at a guy named Cadillac. It's a weird thing. Battling makes me really tense. Puts you in a negative headspace. Like working on Topanga was all positive, and the battle, you're just like constantly thinking of mean things to say about somebody. And so this is nice because I don't know him on a personal level, but when I battle, friends of mine, other local rappers, it's a weird thing. You watch battlers who are really close. Once that battle is set up, they sort of don't talk to each other. You sort of put space between you and the other guy until the battle's over. And
then afterwards you'll say, hey, Ron, let's go cruise State Street.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everything's cool that once the battle's over, hopefully. And but it's still a weird thing. I didn't know if I was going to do many more battles.
Yeah.
And then Synchro called me and said, I got you Cadillac Ron. I can't pass it.
Is he still doing the Mike Masters stuff?
Yeah.
Nate is. Yeah, I need to get him back on the show and do some catching up with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
How has the hip hop scene been? Since January to now, is it growing at all? Is there more kids coming out to shows or?
Yeah, it's going pretty well. It's always room for improvement, but the battles, there's another league in town called A-Hat. And they're bringing out some legends too. And so Mike Masters has some competition now. But battling's getting really exciting. They just crowned a new champion. The next Mike Masters event, they're going to crown a new champion. And so it's just like, it's an exciting time. A lot of big events are coming to head, which is cool. And as far as people making music, there's just always talented guys making music. The Dine Crew just put out an album that's fantastic. Who else? I'm noticing that there are a lot of really young rappers coming out, guys who are still in high school, and they're getting these huge crowds coming to their shows because it's, they're like the cool kids.
Yeah.
They're just like, I guess word gets around the school that like, oh, this guy and this guy are rappers and they're doing a show at Kilby Court and we should go see them. And so it's fun to go out to those shows and get to see somebody who's, 10 years younger than me. And sort of starting to come up,
totally whooping your ass,
as far as devoted following, I would love to go back in time and rap in high school.
Did you dabble at all in rapping in high school at all?
Not really.
No.
I did some battles, I did some freestyling, stuff like that. Nothing serious. It wasn't until I moved here.
Yeah.
I always listened to it and I always went to shows, but I never really got into doing it until my wife was doing her PhD at the U, and I needed a hobby.
Yeah, no, we talked about that in
that's
34. Right. If anybody goes back and listens to that, go back and listen to it.
Yeah, I listened to it today.
Yeah, listen to it today.
I was afraid I was going to tell all the same stories. I had to go back and see what I'd already talked about.
Well, there's always new stuff to talk about. What about, playing out of state at all? Have you had any opportunities to do that? Kind of like Cadillac Ron. Will there ever be an opportunity where like somebody will fly you to LA for a rap battle or something?
I would love that. Still trying to figure it out. Now that I'm with this group, we're sort of putting together our marketing materials. All the guys in House of Lewis in their own way are just ridiculously talented. So they were a really cohesive, talented group. before me, and then I feel like I fit in really well
with those guys.
They all can just like rap really well, and Donnie can sing, and Scratchmo is a renowned DJ from Utah. He's in a group called the Crate Dwellers as well, and so it was just awesome to have everybody like come together. People have been really, really liking our shows. We just opened for a group called the Pharcyde.
How did that? I was going to actually ask you, how did that go? I mean,
awesome.
that was a pretty big deal. I mean, that was
So that was the promoter contacted me and said, "What are you doing on this date?" And I said, "Whatever you want." And he said, "Okay, I'll let you know." And so I kind of forgot about it, and then I get an email saying, "You're opening up for the Pharcyde," who was literally the first hip hop group, underground hip hop group that I ever got into. Like in 10th grade. I always listened to the radio. I've been listening to rap on the radio forever. But the first like underground, like really like positive hip hop, sort of like the Tribe Called Quest and the like the really, like that kind of rap. They were the first ones. My English teacher in 10th grade was like, "Oh, you like rap? You should listen to the Pharcyde," and gave me a CD.
Did you get to hang out with them and everything at all?
We got to meet them, and they were super cool. One of them was really sick and did a great show anyway, but they gave us 15 minutes and we used them.
Was the crowd, into you? Mean, they were going crazy. So you probably got like new faces.
Exactly. This was we'd never performed at Club Elevate before. A lot of people were there. Everybody was there to see Pharcyde. Nobody came really to see us. I mean, some did, but for the most part, just the Pharcyde is like such a popular, talented group that they got a really good turnout. When we started, everybody was back as far away from the stage as you could get, all just against the bar. A huge open space in front of the stage. So we take the stage, and probably halfway through our first song, the crowd had completely shifted up to the front to us. And then we just had the best 15-minute set we'd ever had. And so you
were on cloud nine. It
felt awesome.
Yeah, I could imagine.
So we had asked the promoter, DJ Juggy is the promoter there. And, I had asked him before, "Hey, I know you gave us, you did us a big favor letting us open for the Pharcyde, but can we open for Coolio in November?" And he's like, "Oh, we'll see how the Pharcyde goes." And I got a call the next morning saying like, all I kept hearing was, "Those white boys killed it." Who were those white boys? And that was us. We're the white boys.
So you're going to open up for Coolio?
Yeah. Now we're opening up for Coolio on the, November 27th, day before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
At Club Elevate again. So, which is crazy for me too, because the Pharcyde was the first like underground, rap group I liked, but Coolio was like the first hip hop CD I bought. Was the Dangerous Minds soundtrack. I was obsessed with the Dangerous Minds soundtrack.
Album.
It was just
great album.
I'd buy it, my dad would throw it away. I'd buy it again. 6 times I bought this album. So it's like such a big part of my history to do a show with Coolio. And everyone's really excited. Every time I tell somebody like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing a show with Coolio," they like freak out. He's still like so relevant. And
where's that show? Is that going to be at Club Elevate too?
Yeah, Club Elevate, which is on, it's right next to the hotel. So it's right downtown. Awesome location. And, Juggy's been putting on some awesome shows, and he always has really good openers, and he keeps the shows going at a really quick pace. So we took the stage. 15 minutes later, we were done. The next guy was on. He did 15, 20 minutes right after that Pharcyde. Awesome. There was no waiting around. There was no boring segues. It was awesome. So he's like one of the best guys to work with. And
you'll have about 15 minutes before Coolio as well. And that's with House of Lewis.
And so it's weird, 15 minutes with 5 guys. And so we use it. There's not a 1 second where there's downtime. Yeah. We have our transitions down. We do band practice with the DJ beforehand. We'll do that for a couple times and really just get a tight 15-minute set, the best 15 minutes we can do. And so, last time the crowd was really into it. And so that Pharcyde show is one of the best I've ever had.
Now, last time when I had you on, you mentioned a podcast you were doing with your. Are you doing that anymore? You're not doing the podcast?
No, that we stalled out at about episode 97, and we keep talking about getting to episode 100, and maybe we will. But she just got so busy
with
at the
work.
U.
With work, and
so she's getting her PhD. She's probably got 3 more years left with that, and then I got equally busy with rap. And so it's just
why don't you do like a local rap podcast or something like that, just focusing on like local hip hop. I mean, there's so much. I don't know. You know, you got the skills for podcasting.
And I love podcasting. Yeah. I think it's such an interesting medium. There's some local radio stations, like B-Side Radio on Utah.fm. He does a really good job highlighting stuff that's going on for local hip hop, and he'll give away tickets to shows and bring on up and coming rappers, and he lets you promote your album and plays all this local music. So he's like a really good resource for something like that. Mark Dago, you had him on here, right? I have Mark Dago on, from Numbs, Yeah, so he has a podcast too. Yeah, that's sort of just
pundits.
Yeah. So I was just on that.
Were you? I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, and I think DJ Juggy was on that, and Brisk was on that, and so that's a really good podcast for anyone looking into like wanting to know more about the history of like Utah hip hop. Pop Pundits is probably the best.
Actually, now that I think about it, I know I listened to the Brisk one, and that was really interesting to find out. Yep, there was a lot of history talked about with the
and for
Utah
someone
hip-hop.
like me who hasn't been around that long in Utah, it's nice to know like what was going on in the late 90s. You know, it's just like there's no way unless I hang out with these guys, you know, for years, you might not know some of the stuff that comes up in the podcast. And I think that's why podcasting's so interesting.
Well, it is, because I mean, it's just out there. It's just talk. It's just, getting to know the person that's on it. And that actually, you know, the last time I had you on, I talked a little bit more about your music, not so much about, you know, Scott, Atheist, about you as a person. So I kind of, you know, I jotted down some questions. Some of them are a little obscure, you know, but just to kind of find out about you. What's the last movie that you watched?
The last movie I watched was Gravity with Sandra Bullock in the theaters.
Was that pretty good?
Yeah, because I went to film school, and so like, and the podcast we did was a film podcast. So like, I love movies, and so I went to go see this one. Finally got around to seeing it, and like, this doesn't happen that often, but like the first 20 minutes of Gravity, I have no idea how they made it. The technology has to be like so advanced. The way like cameras moving, I know it's all green screen, but you just have to see it. I can't even describe it.
Did you see it like in 3D and all that, the whole 9 yards?
Yeah, it was incredible.
I need to go see it.
Yeah, I could recommend. I didn't know if I'd like it or not. It's a Sandra Bullock, George Clooney, you know, popcorn movie, but it's good. It actually, we took a long time to go see it, and then was super happy we did. It was awesome.
What's the last TV show that you watched?
We were watching The Wire right before I came over here.
That's a show actually I've been meaning to get into.
So awesome. I tried watching the pilot probably 3 times. Okay. I'd watch it, and then I'd be like, what's going on? Because it sort of just throws you in the middle of everything. And you're like, who are all these people? Like, what's happening? So I'd try watching it like a year later. I'd like, okay, time to watch The Wire. And I'd get into it. Same thing. Finally, Whitney and I got into it, and we stuck with it. And now we're on season 4 of 5. And it's awesome. Everything everybody says is true. Do you watch Breaking Bad?
You know, I actually just barely finished the whole thing, the final season, the whole 9. I started watching it when it first came out. Yeah. You know, what was 2007, 2008. And then I just kind of died off. And then obviously all the hype with the final season and everything. I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this from the beginning, which was good to just kind of refresh. And I got hooked. I was staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning watching it. And then finally, you know, I caught them all up on Netflix, and then I just bought the final season on iTunes. And awesome. I was just like, brilliant show. I mean,
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm going to once I finish The Wire. That's the thing. I'm like, okay, we gotta get through The Wire.
You haven't watched any of Breaking Bad? Oh my gosh.
I know. And part of me was waiting to the end because I couldn't do another Lost. I couldn't, if I found out that the show sucked by the end, then I'd know to skip it. And I've heard nothing but like amazing things. So it's like
probably one of the best shows ever written.
Yeah. I think we've probably got 15 episodes left of The Wire, the whole series, and then it's got to be Breaking Bad.
So is it kind of one of those things like you have to watch shows with your wife? You're not allowed to jump ahead, or
no? She watched like all of Mad Men by herself, and she's watched all of Game of Thrones by herself. and it's up to me to catch up.
Did you watch Orange is the New Black? Have you watched that?
God, yes.
Isn't that a great show?
So good.
Yeah.
We just finished that, and then we started getting back into The Wire. That was when I got hooked on it. We watched that whole thing in like a week and a half.
Yeah, it was so well written.
Yeah, it really caught me off guard. 2. House of Cards was the same thing.
I haven't watched that one yet.
So it's like both of them are Netflix originals, and they've knocked it out of the park. They're like 2 for 2.
No, I'm excited that they're starting to kind of go that direction.
Me too.
It makes you want to kind of keep the Netflix account, you know?
Yeah.
So next question is, what's the most delicious food that you've ever eaten in your entire life?
So shrimp tacos from a guy named Ozzy. He's a friend of a friend, and he's practicing. He and his family are like practicing. They want to open up a Mexican restaurant. And so they'll invite their friends over and try new recipes out and try like, oh, would you like this? Like if it were at the restaurant, would you come eat this at the restaurant? And he makes these shrimp tacos that are like, they are the best food I've ever
So shrimp tacos from Ozzy's.
Yeah.
House.
It's pretty exclusive. Sorry, everybody. But when he opens the restaurant, I will have him come on this show.
Is he here in Salt Lake?
Yeah.
All right. I got to look you up, Ozzy.
Oh my God.
What was your favorite cartoon growing up?
That's hard. I'm super into nostalgia. As a kid, like pop culture, I was obsessed with it from day one. I always loved Ninja Turtles. I have that song, Mikey Was the Best.
Well, and I knew that would probably be a tough question for you.
That's a hard one. Shrimp tacos was easy, you know? That one came super fast. But yeah, my favorite cartoon, probably Ninja Turtles. But I was watching like obscure stuff that you still can't find, like the Cowboys of Boom Mesa, where all the cowboys are cows, you know, like Wish Kid with Macaulay Culkin and his magic like baseball glove. And like, I watched everything.
Well, what's the longest plane ride that you've ever been on?
Probably to DC. Flew to DC from here.
About 6 hours.
Yeah.
You know?
So that was the only time I'd been out on the East Coast. Whitney was presenting a paper at a conference, and we had some friends who were out there. So we flew out and stayed with them, and I love DC. I can't wait.
How long did
back.
you spend out in DC?
We were there for a week.
That's beautiful.
It was awesome.
I love it. If the East Coast, if I was to move somewhere, I'd maybe move out east. I lived out there for 5 years. Obviously, you know, I've talked about it on the show a few times.
Yeah.
But if you could have any pet, illegal or not, not illegal, what would it be? Any pet of your choice.
Any pet. I would love a really cool fish tank that I didn't have to take care of myself. You know, like for aesthetics, I would love a giant fish tank that you see on like MTV Cribs with sharks in it and exotic fish and like beautiful colors, and that I don't have to worry about cleaning or keeping alive.
If you had to move to another country, what country would that be?
I'd have to say Canada for the healthcare. But I also would really want to be, if I could like keep rapping, I would love to be a rapper in Japan. I don't know why.
Everything
that would
blows
be
up
awesome.
there, man. Everything
I know.
blows...
I want to be big in Japan. You know, like I would love to have a following in Japan.
What's the coolest thing you've ever been for Halloween?
I went as Kathy Bates in Misery.
How long ago was that?
That was probably 3 years ago. So somebody threw a Halloween party and said we had to be a character from a movie. And so of all movie characters, I decided to go as Kathy Bates. So I have like the wig and the ugly like jumper dress and a sledgehammer.
Pulled it off pretty good, huh?
It came off, yeah. Probably that's sad. Like I do a really good Kathy Bates.
What's your favorite all-time word to say?
Awesome.
Awesome.
I overuse it, but I don't care.
What's one of your favorite habits that you have?
That's a good question. My favorite habit, probably rapping, probably writing rhymes. It sounds so cliche and corny, but it's all, when I'm working on a new song, I'll put the instrumental on my iPod and just go drive around for a couple hours and just start like freestyling to the beat until something, I'm not a great freestyler, but eventually if you keep rapping over a beat, something comes up.
Practice makes perfect, man.
Yeah. So each song on Topanga, you know, has like hours and hours and hours of gibberish, of me rapping gibberish over a beat until something that Too Loud to Sleep On is a good example of that. I was just rapping no concept. And then I said Too Loud to Sleep On. And I was like, oh, that's good. So I start saying that over and over and over again, working out my cadences, and then just flesh it out to a chorus and write a lot of the songs like in my car.
If you could try out any job for a day, what would you like to try? Any job that you wanted?
I would want to, man, that's a good question. I think I'd like to do something. I'd like to teach. I think I would like to do something like, I don't know if you've heard of a company called Spy Hop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Spy Hop, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do something with Spy Hop. Teach kids how to do something cool.
They actually do a really cool podcast. I don't know if you've ever...
Oh, I didn't know that.
My mind is blank on what it is, but they go and talk to incarcerated youth.
Whoa.
It's a really cool little podcast.
I'll check that out for sure.
I'll look the name up and email that to you.
Okay, awesome. I think they're such a cool organization. I think that I have a friend who's teaching kids how to design 3D like computer games and apps and stuff like that. I would love to teach kids like how to rap, or if I knew how to DJ, I'd love to teach kids how to do that kind of stuff.
That's why they made Craigslist.
I know.
You can put an ad on Craigslist. We'll teach your kids how to rap.
Yeah.
By Atheist.
I want to perform at birthday parties. The Boy Scout Jamboree sort of made me want to do something like make music for kids. We like
kind of like Raffi or something, like just like children's songs. Like you could be the next Barney or something.
That's the job I want to try. I want to be the next Barney, because it was awesome. There were hundreds of kids, probably from ages like 11 to 15, and
they were just getting excited over your music.
Yeah, and the band before us, there was no one really stuck around. They came to see, and there was a lot of stuff going on that night, and they sort of just left. When we came on, we had a huge crowd. The setup, first of all, the Tooele Boy Scout Jamboree is the best stage sound setup I've ever rapped with. They had lights and a great sound system. You could hear the sound all over the park. Like when we drove up, you could hear clearly like the band that was on stage when we got there. It was incredible. We had wireless mics, and we jumped off the stage, and the crowd, and like the kids were like, there were mosh pits. They had a barricade between the kids and the stage. The kids broke the barricade. Like they had conga lines. Some kid's iPhone got smashed. Like it was insanity. That's the best show I've ever done. That was the Tooele Boy Scout Jamboree. And they paid us.
That will
go
down in history as the best.
That's the new one to beat. Pharcyde was amazing too, but like Tooele Boy Scout Jamboree could have been the worst show we ever had, and it was the best.
What's the biggest lie that you've ever told?
Telling my friends that I was going to go on a mission as they were getting ready to go on one too. And so, cause I was raised Mormon, and we were all going to do it together. None of us, I don't think, really wanted to go.
You were like, yes, I'm going.
I was I'm going. Oh, yeah, I met with the bishop.
Mission call and everything.
Yeah, and so 2 days before one of my friends left for West Virginia, he's like, so when are you putting in your papers? And I was like, I can't lie to you anymore. I'm not. He's like, I thought we were doing this together. And I said, I'm sorry, I cannot do it. They will kick me out the first week at the MTC. It's not for me. And he was cool about it. We're still best friends, but like he gave up 2 years for West Virginia. And I'm so happy I didn't.
That's probably one of the best decisions of your life then.
Absolutely.
As well.
It was one of those things where it seemed like I came from a small town, with not a lot of Mormons in it, but I think it made the Mormons that were there, very strict. You know, they would always tell us, oh, if you think we're strict, you should see what kids in Utah have it like. And since I moved here, like we were way crazier there than in Utah.
Utah, I mean, I don't know what people complain. I mean, Utah is not that bad.
I think, especially my wife grew up in Utah County, and she said that like...
Well, yeah, Utah County is a different world.
It's true, but I don't think they were as strict because it was the norm.
Yeah.
So a lot of people there weren't a lot of outside forces in Utah County trying to, turn the kids away from the church. A lot of people there just were like, oh, everybody here's Mormon, and that's that. In my town, it was like almost no one is Mormon. So we were doing everything to keep you Mormon. So we just, no caffeine, no coffee, no playing cards, no like anything, no R-rated movies. Even PG-13 was hard. I mean, it was like very, very, very strict. And when you got to be mission age, like I had missionaries show up at my house all the time. Ladies from the ward would show up with like baked goods because they knew I was going to go on a mission. They're just like, congratulations, cookies. And bishops would show up. And it was insane. So it was so much pressure and I hated, never wanted to go. And was like, in the back of my head, I was like, I can't do this. And then
were your parents disappointed that you didn't go?
My dad wasn't. And my mom, I think she kept out hope for a long time. You know, probably until I got married. She was like, he could still go. He could still go. And then it was like, oh, you're married now. You can't go.
Well, you could still go when you're married.
We'll go when you're old,
right?
Yeah.
You know, as like a vacation or something. So what's something that you wish everyone knew about you?
I wish everyone knew about my music.
There you go.
That's an easy answer.
There's an easy answer.
I wish everyone knew about 801atheist.bandcamp.com.
I like it. Would you ever skydive or bungee jump?
I feel I'm too fat to bungee jump. I feel like that's just spitting in the face of physics, but I think I could do it. And I think I could skydive too. I have a friend who went skydiving and I never thought that they could ever do it, you know? And then I got a phone call and like, I went skydiving. I was, no, you didn't. I was like, oh, if you can do it, anyone can do it. So I guess it's not so bad. Have you been?
I've never been. I'm just curious if you would.
Yeah, I think I have no desire to, but I don't think that I would say like, I'd never do that.
Yeah, see, and I can honestly say I would never do that.
I don't know what I would gain. I don't need more excitement in my life. I think I don't lead an exciting life, but I'm not on the quest for more excitement.
What's the best prank that you've ever pulled?
It's weird. I didn't technically pull this, but my friends did. I was out of high school for a week with strep throat, and my friends convinced a large portion of the school that I had died without telling me. And we ended up getting a call from a teacher calling to confirm that I had passed and we had no idea. And so, but my friends, they had like fake cried in the middle of class, disrupted like the whole school with that I had died. And this was sort of before all of the like social media. You know, this was before Facebook and MySpace and that kind of stuff. So like word just got around that I had died and I came back to school and people were just like, some were like, I knew it was a lie. And some people were like, why? I can't believe you're alive. And I had no idea. They did it all without telling me. I didn't know until a teacher called and said like, we heard a rumor that Scott got sick and died. Is that true? If you could give us a call. My mom saved that message for years. That's the best prank I've ever been involved in.
If you knew you were going to die tomorrow, would you feel cheated today?
No. I think like I've had a good life. I'm super afraid of getting dementia or Alzheimer's, which my grandma had and my great grandma had. And so I'm just like, I don't need to live that old. If I die now, at least I've like had a really good time. And I feel like I've gotten like a lot out of life that I would want to get. If I had made a list when I was young of what I wanted, you know, happily married. I like my job. I have cool hobbies. I have good friends. I've eaten about any food you can eat.
Well, you had Ozzy's
I had Ozzy's shrimp tacos. I can die now. Yeah, kill me whenever.
Awesome. Well, how can people find you, Scott? How can people find you online? I know you're on Facebook, Twitter. You got a website now. I don't think you had a website when I talked to you
No, I launched
before.
that. Yeah, 801atheist.wordpress.com. We're in the process of updating that and getting it to just be 801atheist.com, but that'll come soon. 801atheist.bandcamp is how you can get all my music. Thanks for the Burgers is still free. The Roger EP is still free. And then Topanga is $10.
Now, is it on iTunes as well?
It's not. I just stuck to Bandcamp. I wanted to keep it centralized, and it's worked out really well.
Yeah.
I haven't had, if anybody says I don't want to use Bandcamp or I don't have PayPal, we figure it out.
Who doesn't have PayPal?
I know some people don't have PayPal, but I sell the CDs at my shows or I've driven around Utah dropping them off to people who email me.
It's like 30 minutes or less. Scott will have the CD at your house, right? So the 27th Coolio, this will definitely be up before that.
Okay.
Anything after that or anything?
I've got this Sunday, I'm opening for a group called Turquoise Jeep. And this may go up after that.
Yeah, this will go up after Sunday.
Yeah, that we've got Coolio. I'm performing at the Barbary Coast. This is where I started doing rap battles. This is what started me doing rap at all, was at this biker bar in Murray called the Barbary Coast. And
I love it. You were performing in front of bikers.
Yeah, and somehow they ended up really liking me. And it was them. It was the bikers who kept asking, like, where can I get your music? And they'd ask me every time.
Harley guys.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, for real. Like for real bikers would just be like, you're funny as hell. Like, where can I get your music? And so I had to go make music to appease the bikers. And that was thanks to the burgers. That's really how I got started. I was just going to do battles for fun. And then they were like, we want music. So I made music.
You didn't want to get beat up by the bikers.
I guess not. Yeah. I was like, oh, if they like me, maybe somebody else will too. They seem like a hard crowd to please. So it's been good ever since. So that'll be on December 14th at Barbary Coast.
And then December 7th, Cadillac Ron.
Yeah. So venue still TBA. We're not sure where we're going to do it yet, but just Google Mike Masters Alliance and keep up to date on that.
I mean, you'll probably post it on your Facebook page too.
Oh yeah, facebook.com/atheist rapper.
And I'll get the link on the show notes. And go back and listen to episode 34 when I talked to Scott. And then what was it, 40?
Yeah, 43.
Was it with Nate? And you came in with that one too, Nate, from Mike Masters Synchronize. And so go back and listen to those episodes. And seriously, Scott, I appreciate all the support you've given the podcast. And I mean, you were one of the, you introduced me to the hip hop scene here in Salt Lake. You were the first hip hop person I had on the podcast.
And your hip hop episodes are always really great.
And I need to get more, I need to get more, some new voices on, on the
I'll shoot you a list.
Yeah.
Some recommendations.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a great podcast. I love it.
Well, thank you. Anything else you want to add before we close out here?
I think that's it. If we're going to play another song at the end, I don't know.
Yeah. I was just going to actually say, let's play one more song to end the show out with, and you tell us what we're ending the show with.
Yeah, let's play Freestyle Fresh, which is a joke. Anytime a rapper goes on a radio station and freestyles, it's not really a freestyle, and it hasn't been for a long time. They'll always say, I'm freestyling, and it's too good. They've set the bar too high. And so the first guy to show up and not rap off the top of his head ruined it forever. Because there's like, well, now you can't freestyle because it's not going to be as good as a written. So I made a whole song that makes fun of that.
Awesome. And that's on the Topanga album. Go download it. Go buy it. I mean, it's definitely, it's good stuff, man.
Thanks a lot.
So thanks for coming on the show, Scott.
Anytime.
Welcome back to 1011. We got Atheist in the studio. Say hello to the world, Atheist.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, you know the rules. Anytime there's a dope MC on the show, we gotta have them freestyle.
Yeah, that's fine, man. I can freestyle. Let's do it.
I can't bring Biggie back. I'll never make a Biggie track. Got a white flow. Fuck around and bring Jiggy back. Jump piggyback on that backpack rap. Fuck a booby trap, kitty cat, year of the rat. I'm here in effect. Did you hear that I'm deaf? Man, it's alright tonight that I could never be left. Bar none, I'm bar numb. Animal cracker. Cracker and an animal, you need a better mandible. I'm a rhyme with myself, I'm a homonym. If he rhyme by himself, don't bother him. Top 5 in slug, that's not a rumor. I grew as an artist, but it's not a tumor. Yo, that was fresh. Yo, what have you been up to, Atheist?
Not much, just ready to put this album out. Topanga drops August 8th, my birthday. I'm working with Woodstock and Rashawn Ahmad.
Oh, no, that's cool, but why don't you do another freestyle from you, alright?
You really put me on the spot, but
I'll admit it, baby, yeah, I'm the shit. Cause I illustrate words like a hieroglyph. And I make them go bananas, you'll make them split. 20 downs on that piff, and yep, that's it. I'm homesick, really wanna kick it in the bay. If you really want it, then you probably ought to run away. Gotta find a way, take a train all the way from San Jose. I'm a dusty NES, I don't play. Yes, here we go again. Once I walk into the party, then the party can't begin. Cause I'm dressed fresh like $1,000,000. Like solid gold socks with my solid gold tux, yeah. Freestyle. Alright. We got Atheist in the studio. Topanga dropping August 8th. Woodstock from Crown City Rockers produced a couple of the tracks. Are you a big Crown City Rockers fan?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I have a funny story about.
Oh, that's great. Can't wait to hear it. But let's get another freestyle. Nerdy white rapper can't connect well with Cassidy. More rhymes inside than an iPod at capacity. Who got the audacity to try to drown a manatee? I'm living underwater and fool, you cannot float with me. Can't flock with me, bird of any feather. Hip Hop 101, I'm the rhyme professor. I profess rhymes, please pardon my shine. Yes, the heart of my grind is just a part of my mind, and I'm free. FREE styling, freestyling in the booth, baby, I'm wildin'. One take, one mic off the dome. Yeah, right, I wrote this like a month ago.
What? Wait, that wasn't freestyle?
No, it wasn't freestyle. Like, nobody freestyles on the radio anymore. Remember that video of Drake, like, freestyling off his BlackBerry? I mean, I think they should, but they're setting the bar so high, like, nobody can actually freestyle. And you knew I wasn't freestyling because you sent me the beat, like, 2 months ago. And that last freestyle had ad-libs on it.
Get out of here! You're not hip-hop! Fuck Atheist! You're never welcome back on the 1011 in the morning radio program! Thanks for the burgers, you didn't bring me no burgers. Topanga was like 14 years old. That's disgusting.